Hello, my name is John Cole, and my student number is 151938. And in this video, I'm going to talk a bit about the falling objects blueprint and the breakable floor blueprint. So, first of all, the falling objects, as you can see here. This is basically that when something triggers, the physics get simulated and they fall. So, I could have done this with a blueprint, with the tripwire blueprint, but just for the sake in this gym to demo it, I just added another collider box here. So what it basically does is, as you can see here the cube and the collider. What you can see is it checks with the collider for overlap, checks if it's the first person character, and then it sets simulate physics to true, so that simulates. And what will happen is this will just start falling. So the other thing is these two floors here, which are actually breakable and when fall apart when there is a certain pressure on it or when a player moves over them. So the way I made them is there's actually a really easy way to make them. So first of all, you grab a static mesh like this cube and you right click. And then on the top of it, you see create destructible mesh. When you do that, you actually get this thing. Then you get jumped into this menu and you'll see like damage threshold, like how much damage it needs to have until it actually breaks. And and you have some other stuff like degree lifetime and how much it separates. But one of the most interesting things is basically this, the cell site count. This basically tells you, like, say 50, basically tells you how many times, how many pieces is going to break. So we have fracture mesh here, and then you can actually, after you've done that, always fracture the mesh first, or else this won't work. Then you have this bar here, and then you can actually test it. And then you'll see how it will look like. And if we, for instance, set it to 2 and fracture the mesh, you can actually see how it will break like this. Let's set it back to 50. So that's the mesh that I used for the blueprint. So here you'll see the destructible, which is that same mesh. To actually use this in the blueprint, you go to add component, destructible. Let me add destructible. And then here you would actually need to put in a destructible mesh, which is the one I just made. And I added a collider on top of it to make sure that it won't just break off anything, but actually when certain things hit it. So here we basically see again, it checks to see if the first person character is walking on it. And if it is, then we apply damage to the destructible mesh. So the target is the destructible mesh for the damage. How much damage? It's just 1 because the damage threshold is 1. So that's all we need actually. And then we have the hit location. And to make sure it breaks in the way that I want. For instance, if you walk on a breakable floor, it should actually collapse into each other. It shouldn't like shoot up because it's getting the damage from above it. So what we basically do is we get the collider, its location, and we put that as the hit location. That makes sure that this is basically the hit location. Also, a fun fact, this destructible mesh can also still be adjusted here in this menu. So now it's going to be 50. If I put this to 2, then these floors will actually just break into 2 pieces. So yeah, let's play and test it out. So first the falling cube will trigger it. Oh wait, we put it on this, but I think we forgot to fracture it. So what actually happened here is it fell, but because 2 pieces is still actually like, let's see, yeah, you see it's still in 2 pieces. So you see the way this breaks. This is actually supported on below side. So even if it breaks it on this, in this way, on this side, it will fracture. What that means is that even though it's actually broken, you can still walk on top of it because it's still supporting each other. So that's something you have to look out for. So let's just set it to 50, like that. And let's try again. It will look a bit weird because I just used one cube and scaled that. So the fractures will also scale. So it will look a bit weird, but for demo purposes, I think it's fine. For actual game purposes, we might actually just duplicate the meshes a couple of times. Depends how expensive that is. I think that's probably okay. And we can make so that it actually crumbles nicely. But for demo purposes, I thought this was fine. So here it goes, and there you see break. And test out with the character. So I walk on it, and oh no, I drop. And then after a certain amount of time, I die because there's like a kill box below. So that's basically it for this video. Thank you for your time.